I have more comments to share with you regarding travel insurance. I'd like to show you the comments. There are going to be several here. And then I will give you what I think about what is happening. Stay with me. That's what we'll talk about. I'm still waiting for the Department of Health to give me a response to my email. On top of that, I sent them another follow-up email. And the follow-up email said that it suggested that maybe we should provide them with an affidavit or a statement of account showing that we have $35,000 worth of deposit to secure our stay in the Philippines, or a credit line via a credit card company. Again, that was just sent yesterday, and I'm still waiting for a reply. Meanwhile, let me show you some additional comments, and stay with me until the end, because I'm going to tell you what I think is happening and what I personally am going to do when that time comes that I will travel to the Philippines, and if this requirement is still intact. Let's take a look at it. The first comment says, Grandpa, really confusing. DOH One Health Pass registration does not list travel insurance as a requirement. Your thoughts? So it is not listed as a requirement. Why not? Another comment. I think immigration assumes that the airlines are checking travel insurance. Buy one and bring all documents, required documentation. Why risk your flight? Makes sense. But it depends on what you can get the insurance for. If it's a small amount, don't argue. Just pay it. Okay? But if it's a big amount, it's a problem. I got hospitalized in the Philippines, not once, but twice. My insurance covered and reimbursed me. My bill was over 1 million pesos each time, which is way over 35,000. I have Kaiser. See, that's a testimony that he is covered, required or not by the Philippines, he is taken care of. I would not travel there without completing all the requirements listed on paper, including travel insurance. The regulations and rules change all the time, so hopefully they will get rid of the insurance and testing requirements in the months ahead. Me too. I hope so. I bought travel insurance, landed in Manila on Monday, and they never asked for it. Not at the immigration when he landed in Manila, but did they ask for it when he boarded a plane? That is the question there. Dan Phillips, foreigner don't get travel insurance. Ridiculous. Now, wait a minute. There's a misunderstanding here. Balikbayan, meaning former Filipino who is no longer a Filipino, therefore a foreigner. And travelers using visa-free countries, these are the real foreigners, are specifically required because they do not have to go through immigration to obtain a visa. So it is in the regulation. I won't be surprised if those required to get a visa before traveling will be required as well. Else, they don't pass the screening process. It's because those people with other visa don't have to be told, because once they apply, they will be told. That is my thinking. I don't think they are exempt. But the people, the Balikbayan people, and people traveling from visa-free countries don't have to go through immigration. They just go, buy the ticket, fly, arrive in the Philippines as long as you meet all the requirements, and therefore they have to publish the requirement that they are required a travel insurance. I have a BCBS, I guess that's Blue Cross and Blue Shield, but to make sure I have also insurance in Philippines, I bought an insurance in the Pacific Cross. I heard about that insurance company, Philippine Pacific Cross, in the amount of $267 for 112 days. This covered everything up to $60,000. He said everything. Towards the end, I'm going to show you what I found out, okay? Up to $60,000. this came from Cheat. It's so expensive to to get travel insurance, almost $1,000. Wow, that's huge. How can we go for vacation and bring my husband Ern, who died here in Guam? Thanks if you can help us, please. Here's another one. Travel insurance is totally useless because hospitals do not ask for insurance, like in the US, but ask for your cash deposit instead, and we all know that. Cash is a must prior to treatment. Look at that. It's not like in the US. You check in at the hospital, you show your insurance card, you don't have to lay out a penny. But apparently in the Philippines, and I've heard this from so many people, so I believe it's true. You can show them the insurance card. Doesn't mean anything. You have to put down the money. And then when you check out, you have to pay your own money and file your own claim with your insurance company. I guess they don't want to be bothered with filing claims with the insurance company. They already have enough problem with PhilHealth. PhilHealth not reimbursing them for their claims. And I don't blame them. Oh, this is from the same guy. Immigration officers at NAIA do not ask travel insurance but must be checked by the airline counter personnel and upon checking in at port of origin. So when you leave or before you leave the country, before you can board a plane, that is where you show travel insurance. There's more than 1 or 2 or 3 people telling me this because I'm not giving you all the comments, just to highlight a few. I'm a dual citizen. If my wife, who is a U.S. citizen, is traveling with me, is she required to have travel insurance? This has not been covered in the announcements. Well, it is because if you are a dual citizen, you are a Philippine citizen and you are not required. So they don't have to tell you that. You are a Filipino citizen if you are dual. Hi, although it's not a first-hand experience, my cousin's friend said her whole family of 5 got travel insurance for a total of $72. They're in the Philippines now. Hope this helps a little. You know what would help more? If you tell us which insurance company he got that for. That is really cheap. 5 for $72? Hard to believe. How long is that for? 1 day or is it 30 days? Because towards the end, I will show you some quotes, and they vary a lot. DC Adventures, this is from DC Adventures. Yes, she is required to have travel insurance, okay, because she is a foreigner, U.S. citizen, but he is a dual, and therefore he is not required to have travel insurance. If the health insurance company refuses to include the allowable amount on its worldwide emergency current urgent care coverage, keep a copy of the evidence of coverage or summary of benefits, usually a PDF file, which states the maximum amount and period. Keep it open on the phone and queue it to specific page. Better yet, print it out. The document checkers at the airport are so confused and overwhelmed, as well as the myriad of rules that perpetually keep coming one after another. A very good suggestion. When you have insurance, don't even rely on your cell phone. And besides, when you're on the cell phone, it's so hard to read, and maybe that's what you want to do to get them confused, right? But I would prefer to print it out and show it to them in black and white that you have coverage. The problem is, does it say COVID and does it say 35,000? Those are the two problems. Grandpa, I'm not sure if these travelers know what happens if they have COVID travel insurance, then caught COVID while in the Philippines that required medical care. Before you even get seen admitted, you will be required to place a cash deposit for your care. Then before you are discharged, you will need to fully pay your bill. So this is the same comment as before. It is then your responsibility to mail the bill you paid to the travel insurance that is covering you for reimbursement. See, if that is the practice in the Philippines, what is travel insurance for? That is for your own protection, not for the Philippine government. Okay? Because the Philippine government is not going to pay it for you and then let them take care of the insurance. No. If the hospitals don't want to admit you because of travel insurance, big deal. Okay, so collect the claim from your insurance company, but pay cash. Travel insurance doesn't do any good if you don't have cash. Just like if you have an Advantage plan in the US, it's the same deal. Do you know why that is? Because of corruption in the Philippines. They don't trust the Philippines, the insurance companies. Here's one. I agree with you, Grandpa. Those travelers were lucky to be assigned to an agent that is not strictly following protocol. I will not risk it. I will rather follow the requirements because I don't want to be stopped from traveling if I fail to get travel insurance. Very true. Travel insurance costs what? $100, let's say? Your trip may be costing $1,000, $2,000 if you're a family or a couple. I have seen any website and people are going into immigration in Manila. They are not asking for travel insurance. They only ask for your COVID result and your CDC card. That's all. But there is no big deal on travel insurance. Just to get it for 2 weeks or 1 month and spend the extra $80 or whatever and just get it into the country. Get into the country. At least no big deal because you are that cheap. You better stay home. Okay. This very practical solution. In fact, one vlogger suggested, guys, just get 30-day insurance. They're not checking. They're not looking at your return ticket. Even if you're staying there for 1 year, they don't care as long as you can show you have travel insurance. Technically, it should not be, okay? Because the regulation says travel insurance for the duration of your stay. But apparently, no one is checking. Besides, people at the airport are so busy. You're so unlucky if you got somebody who's hard-nosed and tries to check everything. But that's another possibility you can do. That's something I would do. I, non-Filipino, arrived from from San Francisco on the 16th. Philippine Airlines asked to see. Upon entering Philippines, I was never asked to show it. I'm not sure I understand this. I, non-Filipino, arrived from San Francisco on the 16th. Philippine Airlines asked to see it. Upon entering Philippines, okay. So Philippine Airlines asked to see it maybe before departing. Upon entering the Philippines, I was never asked to show it. So again, the same comment. Grandpa, since travel insurance requires at least 35,000 of coverage with a proof of having 35K in a savings account, satisfy the requirement. Thank you po in advance. It's because of this comment that I sent a letter to the Department of Health. I said, gee, what if I can show you I have a 35,000 cash? Here, more than 35,000 cash. Or 50,000 credit limit on my credit card. Is that going to be acceptable? No response yet. Here's another one. France is waiving all departure testing for fully vaccinated travelers entering the country, the Ministry of the Interior announced. Going forward, American travelers who are up to date on their vaccines will be able to enter the country by simply showing proof of their vaccination status and providing a sworn statement that they're not exhibiting symptoms of COVID-19 and have not been in contact with a confirmed case of COVID-19, according to the ministry. France requires all travelers 18 and older to get booster shot if it has been more than 9 months since the final shot of their initial vaccination series. Spain introduced a huge change for holidaymaker this week as children over 19 from non-EU countries such as UK now do not need to be fully vaccinated against coronavirus to enter the country. The change came in force on Monday, February 14th, ahead of the school term. Adults who are fully vaccinated and traveling to the UK can enter Spain without needing to test or quarantine regardless of your reason for travel. This is just exhibiting that other countries are really opening up, removing all these requirements. Now, how long is this going to take the Philippines to get this thing done? Let us take a look at some of the quotations that I tried to get. Here is one quotation I got from Forbes advisor. Okay, so I said, okay, I'm leaving on the 28th. I'm coming back on the 28th. So 1 month, just 1 month. Philippines. Continue on page 2. Traveler information. Country of residence, United States. Citizenship, United States. State of residence, oh, Pennsylvania. And I said, let's just do one traveler. Traveler ages, I'm 72 years old. Continue. Yes, cover my trip cost. Trip cost amount 800. I know that's low because it's running over 1,000 right now, but let's just say 800 because I'll never pay $1,000 to go to the Philippines. First deposit date, let's say 23rd, today. Payments left, none because I paid cash. View result. Now looking for policies. Look at this. $312. There is a COVID-19 cancellation covered, COVID-19 medical coverage cancellation, interruption, medical emergency medical coverage. This one shows COVID-19 specifically. Okay, that's from Tranwick, and then this is cheaper from Generali, $90. Cancellation covered, medical covered, but this one does not say COVID. Oh no, COVID-19, sorry. COVID-19 medical covered. Okay, so this says COVID. 120, 118. So you have to shop. Look at that. This one is for 312. Okay, so now let's do 2 months. So let's say March 28, let's do it to April 28. Let's call it 27. Okay, page 2, 72 age. So this is for 2 months. Wow, 629. So the first quote you receive is only for 30 days. So it looks like it's double. 265, 196. So it could be very expensive. Now, Forbes Advisor is only one. There are so many of them. So let's look at another one. Let's close this. This is another one. Get quotes. This is from travelinsurance.com. Get quotes. Okay, so let's say same 800 per person, date, let's say March 10 to April 9, so 1 month. Traveler goes, and let's say the age of the traveler is 72 years old, permanent resident of the US, Pennsylvania, United States citizenship, and initial trip payment date, get quotes. This is for a 72-year-old individual. This is 30-day policy. $92, $96, $104, $118, $123, much more reasonable than the previous one. Okay, so watch this. This is travelinsurance.com. Okay, and it's one AXA. Let me see. Generali, April, 7 Corners, April. Okay. Now let's take a look at this. See, because this one says emergency medical, which is the same term being used with zero deductible, which is the same thing being used on our Advantage plan, or if your supplemental plan covers emergency coverage, they use the same term. They do not specify COVID, and they do not specify 35,000, which means it's unlimited. It could be 1 million, okay? But this one specifically says 50,000, which is under the 35,000 requirement per person. Nice thing about this is it has this baggage loss, the trip cancellation, which to me is more important today rather than the medical insurance. Because trip cancellation, how many times have people told me I have been canceled twice, thrice, 4 times because Philippines changed the requirement or changed the law, the rules. Now, This one says, COVID-19 frequently asked questions. Let's see. The standard preferred premium travel insurance can provide coverage if you and your host destination is travel compared family member test for positive 19. See, they cover it if your host at the destination, a travel companion or family member tests positive for COVID-19. It does say that, so maybe the policy will say that. I will also check my policy if in the details, because the policy is like 100 pages long. Well, not really, but it's very thick. So I will see if there is any exclusion or if it says covers COVID-19. Here is my thought. Number one is make sure you shop. Okay, you don't look at something and immediately say, oh, it's so expensive. Maybe it's not that expensive. But this is only for 30 days. And one blogger told us that just by 30 days. I assume this is based on what he experienced, that they're just looking, as long as you have a coverage for COVID-19 policy, blah, 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 you're okay. The second one is to make sure you print a copy of the policy that you have so that you could show it to them that you have a policy. Now, I'm going to tell you my opinion of what I think is happening here. Only my opinion, not an accusation, okay? I have a feeling that the politicians in the Philippines got paid by this insurance company. And you might say, well, gee, there's no specific insurance company. It could be the association of airlines, like IATA. That's an association of airlines. Just like in real estate, there is a real estate board or a membership that you have to pay money for to be able to join them. Now, they take care of lobbying effort to encourage people or to require people to get insurance because that's additional money for them. Sometimes they get more money on these insurance sales than on the airline ticket itself. You know, sometimes they make money on the accessories. You know how people give you the equipment and charge you for the battery, and the battery is so high, that's where you pay the money. That's basically, I think, what is happening here. Because the government is not checking it out like they're checking COVID certification, make sure you're vaccinated. They're not checking travel insurance. They're basically leaving it up for the airlines to get that money from the people. Make sure they have insurance. If they don't, maybe you can buy it right there on the counter. That's another thing I'm going to find out. So I'm going to take a gamble, not because I'm so cheap, but because it's against my principle, to overpay on something I don't really need. Or the worst case is, maybe just to be safe, I'm going to cheat and buy only 1 month. If I can buy only 2 weeks or 1 week, that's even better. Or someone also said that you're able to refund the money. So you buy 1 month or 2 months, whatever you want to do, and then after you arrive in the Philippines, cancel it. Now, do you really get the refund? I don't know. That's something I'm going to pursue myself. And again, I cannot give you the answer because there are so many airlines, so many different organizations here, depending on where you live and where you're buying your ticket from. Maybe your travel agency themselves are selling this travel insurance. So find out how much it would cost. Is it cancelable? And then cancel it after you arrive in the Philippines because you don't really need it. This is really foolish, but you know what? It's happening everywhere. Even in the United States, there are lobbyists who lobby for the U.S. government, same thing with the Philippine government, to do something that will benefit them. I think that is what is happening, just my opinion. So, that's what I suggest you do. Take a look and Google travel insurance overseas with COVID-19 coverage. Google that and view 3 or 4 of those sites and get quotation. You're not looking for a reliable insurance company. If an insurance company will just give me a piece of paper so I can get in and it's cheap, that's what I'm going to buy because I don't need it. I have insurance. So I'm sure a lot of you are in the same boat. But on the other hand, because of the trip cancellation, that trip cancellation is important to me. Why? Because Philippines can change the requirement and all of a sudden, flight canceled. The airline canceled the flight because of the booking or the cap, the limitations. I don't know. So this is where we stand right now, and I gave you my opinion of what I believe is happening, and I am 80% confident that that is what is happening, but it's not based on facts. It's strictly intuition on my part as to what I think is happening in the background. So I hope this helps somewhat. That's why I shared these comments with you, so we know what is being done and what's not being done. I am convinced that it's not being checked at the airport, it's being checked at the airline. So find out how much it costs, what the requirement of the airline is, and is it cancelable? All right? So that's all I have to share with you today. Please do share this with other people, and I'll appreciate it if you click like, and please do subscribe to my channel unless you have already done so. Thank you so much. Make it a great day, and God bless.